Hello, my sweets. It is a new day and a new era. Blah. Oh no. Let me try to tighten. Oh no, 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 no. Not again. That looks pretty good, but perhaps. That looks pretty good, I guess. Still working on that one. Still working on this one. Ba-da-da-da-da. What a time I dingy. I get the YouTubes. Now pull it down here. Oh no, it's over here on the left. That's weird. That's not where it is. Live. I'll click on that. Ah, it's me. Wait a minute. That's why I don't feel like I'm doing this in the right order. Good morning, Possum. How are you? Good to see you. Possum, do you ever sleep? I was thinking about that. Like, you were on the stream yesterday, you're here this morning. That's dedication. Thank you. Thank you as always. But I am wondering, it's like, do you sleep? I don't. Tired. Same. I'm so sleepy. So is Margot. Margot, you're sleepy? All right. Hi. Hey. Do you want to share the chair with me? You can. We could sit together in this chair. Margot's like, I've been there before. I don't really feel the need to sit in that chair. Oh, okay, maybe. You can sit in my lap if you want. We can talk. We got stuff to talk about. Always got stuff to talk about. If you don't, you just got to make your own. Yeah, you streamed at 3 p.m. my time. I didn't go to bed until around 8 or 9 my time. What time is it your time like right now? It's I'm thinking like just the time, knowing that you are in California and you're here in the mornings and then in the evenings too. It's just like that's dedication, and I do appreciate it. But you do need to get sleep. You gotta have sleeps sometime. But I do know you also typically, I believe, listen to the morning streams while working, which is I support. Hey, I'm just gonna pick you up and you can sit in my lap, okay? Instead of just keep screaming. She's gonna hop down. It's 3:43 a.m. Oh my lord. So yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense that you are 3 hours behind at all times and not just in the evenings. Hey, Marco. Hey, what you doing? Do you have anything you want to say into the microphone, Marco? Just Marco purrs. So we are currently, our little filming area that we have here is in the corner underneath of my bedroom. This is actually where my original like hobby space was in our basement. But that means that while I am doing this and talking, Kelly is like directly above me. So she can hear me sneaking around and vice versa. But yeah, beautiful kitty purring ASMR. Just Margot with a mic, just holding a little fluffy microphone to Margot while she makes purring sounds. That might be able to fix the world. I don't know if it could. I'd like to think that it could. One of the things that I was going to show, I figured it might be fun to see this corner, but I feel like I've shown you guys the corner. I don't want to overdo the corner. But let's see. I know that's going to be dumb if I change that. I don't want to do that. I feel like the easiest way would be to use a camera. But I've also done this on like my YouTube stream. So, or not YouTube stream. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm tired. I'm still waking up. So essentially, I got a whole bunch of candles. These are LED. They are controlled with a remote, but I've not done any of that finagling yet. I don't know how pumped I am about that because each one of these things takes 2 AA batteries, which is gnarly. But I guess they're made to like, oh yeah, you get them for like Halloween or whatever, and you put them out year round. Not year round. Why did I say that? votive candles, maybe. Votive candles that you put out year round, or Halloween candles that you put out year round because you really like Halloween. And I support that. You do you. Let's see. These guys don't have a remote control, so like each one of these I have to turn on by hand. But I really liked these guys. The only thing is like with the remote control, and I still turn them on by hand, you have to leave the switch on, which means that that battery definitely has to still be connected. So it's going to like drain the battery. And I don't want to have all my my batteries die and my candles flicker and go out while I'm not even filming and stuff. So that's definitely a key thing to make sure I don't leave them on. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with how the whole thing looks. I've got my box of Bloodborne stuff up here. I don't think you can really see this guy, but this is a spoopy mask I made. These are our splicer masks, the second ones that we made. Kelly and I were splicers, speaking from experience. Yes. Yeah, these are votive candles or Halloween. I'm always like torn off from the, like, I'm like, okay, I don't know if it's a delay or if I forgot what I was talking about. I'm so bad at keeping track of my own conversations. But yeah, my masks. I think I've shown these before, but maybe not. This one is a big bird mask. Lots of feathers. You can see a little bit better there. Let me get a little. Oh, hello. Yes. I'm here to deal with your dad. Perhaps. But perhaps not. And then, of course, Kelly Splicer mask is a kitty. So. Yep. After that, this is a. So, I'm trying to think of a way to explain this aesthetic. The aesthetic of the Grimdark Distillery is supposed to be a cult, but it is also supposed to be. So it's Grimdark. I wanted to make this corner almost like, it's essentially like what a Space Hulk is. Like, the batteries do drain from being. Oh, okay, and waiting for the remote. I use mines for blood on the clock tower. Okay. Yes. No. That's what you're saying. Speaking from experience. Yes. So that. Okay. Well, then my concern and my thought was exactly warranted. I was thinking that. Wish me luck on my skate to work. Oh no! Be careful, possum. Got to beat you. No. I would think that because when you flip the switch on, there has to be some connection with the remote present at all times in order for the remote to work whenever you turn it back on. And that has to require some amount of power. It just doesn't do it on its own, which is the same thing. That's phones. Like I think about that because you have to think about that with phones when you work in that kind of stuff. A phone is perpetually talking, always. Like it is the amount of things that these do in milliseconds is horrifying. And like that's I think honestly like my stint in tech, in the tech world, especially telecom, and just seeing where we as a society and everything like that, not pretty. And I'm happy that I've left and I'm doing this now in my basement. Now just got to figure out a way to make money. But no, honestly, I just want to do what I love and what makes me happy. And there's a lot of people that uh, seem to want to learn and are also very supportive, and I'm so incredibly thankful for that. So the entire aesthetic that I was trying to stick to here was grimdark for sure, because the grimdark distillery is the name that I've chosen to work all of this under, and I think that that is the best. I do think that it's going to be the best title. It's a reference to one, my first steps into the 28 community on the ammo bunker, um, which was my first steps into like the hobby after leaving it because of all the reasons I don't partake in regular Warhammer 40,000, the game, tabletop game. I don't really play that the way most people do, like when they go to stores, or whatever have you. I don't play it the way that it says to play it in the books. Narrative gaming is a whole different way of playing with the toys and the characters and the stories that we build. That over time, the community that I've found, we all seem to really enjoy that, and it allows us to tell stories as opposed to someone wins, someone loses, and when you work as hard as we, if you're listening to this, you most likely also do hobby stuff. And that is my entire thing with why I have beef with a lot of, or with one in particular company, because their entire business model relies on getting you to use your time to do the thing that you care about, but then invalidating that and making you redo it and spend more money and more time. But the thing that's really messed up about that is the money and the time exchange that they are expecting of that are nowhere near comparable, at least for me. Like in order to fix an entire army that I've put so much time in to be able to play with it again, the amount of time that would take versus the amount of money is something utterly incomparable for me. Like it's just like I can't justify doing all that work again. So that's how you lose a player for me, because again, I don't spend hundreds of hours making a model and then feel like I have to change it. Well, I say I don't do that. I did that. I'm never gonna fucking do it again though. That's for goddamn sure. The last one I did that with was the Chaos Lord of my Black Legion army, which was my last attempt at playing 40k normally. But I converted one of the true scale models that Adam made, Adam Wire, the Killing Cold on Instagram, of Between the Bolter and Me fame, of course. But he sent me one of his first Marine sculpts, and I turned that into a Chaos Lord with a jump pack, which is now no longer. It's not even a unit in the game. So, which it might be now. I don't know. I have not looked at this edition. So anywho, the aesthetic is supposed to be grimdark, but also I wanted to make sure that it was not generic. So there is a lot that is very specific to me. Mainly the splicer masks. They fit well in. This is Bloodborne, the board game up here in this box, and that's the whole idea was I love to have my games. I love to have things that look like they belong in the world that they are in. This box, I spent quite a bit of time working on this box, and I barely even showed it. I pretty much just used it in that picture, but this is the box that I have made to keep my Merkborg stuff in. And I'm gonna have to find that little key. But I wanted to make it look like it was utterly just a disgusting box that I pulled out of the grave. And I do feel very confident when touching it, when looking at it in person. It looks like I dug this up. But then on the inside, is not filthy and awful like it's been, in a grave. So this will be used to hold all of my books and everything I need. You can see some of the grit on the side here, the back. The bottom has not been painted. I do need to touch that, but given the time crunch of trying to just get everything done yesterday. And why was there a time crunch with everything done yesterday? Making myself do it. If I don't set a date, it's really hard. And that is not just a me thing. That's like a most people thing. If we don't set dates to actually make ourselves like have something done by, it's really easy to keep working without having an actual goal. And that is what we don't want to do. Kind of like my rambling talks. The aesthetic wise, I wanted it to be something that was not just a generic grim dark, and to really highlight my own kind of vibe. So that is kind of where all the black and the gold, and the snake and the snakeskin jacket, which that's not a snakeskin jacket. It is a sequin jacket that has, it's a sequin jacket that has snakes on it that also is gold. But it is, that is actually a shedding of a Henson. The Henson, it sheds its skin, and sometimes it sells them. And I bought that skin, Tim Henson. That's my favorite guitarist from Polyphia. That is one of his jackets that I purchased off of Depop when he was just, decided he had too many clothes that he wanted to sell. So and to reflect on that, because I'm sure a lot of people have definitely thoughts and things. I respect and appreciate Tim Henson so much from a artistic level. Like, he gave me back a part of me. Like, he gave me back a part of me, and that's something that I am forever like indebted, because I truly had like sworn off just playing music. Like, I didn't want to make music. I had no desire to make music because of how negative I let myself get with that. And that is kind of like who I am, honestly. Like, I have very intense passions, very intense drives. And if I hit a point in one that it's just like, I can't do it anymore, like, it dies. Like, I don't, but yeah, music absolutely got to be something that was not something that I made for me anymore. It was almost a spite thing, and that's not good. And that's really, when I talk about the full length of Fur and Teeth, that's what I'm talking about, is just the absolute like not good vibe that I was in when I wrote the full length. And that kind of, it was just the so much of your success, and that's with any success in entertainment, but so much success in music is entirely dependent on other people listening to you. And as someone that constantly either A, would try to not share who they were because they just were only wanting privacy, or share everything hidden in metaphors, and then being surprised that no one understands what you're talking about. It's weird. It's weird making to where you have to weigh your success on the thoughts of others and other people judging what you produce when you're supposed to produce it just to make you happy. That's a hard thing. And if you don't have the foundation or the stability to support yourself while trying to do that, it'll kill whatever you're passionate about. And that's what happened to me with music. I put everything I had into trying to do something with that for a little bit, but not knowing how to go about doing it. Doing too much winging. I think maybe not too much winging. It was just a different time. That's also the same thing. There's so much with where I live. There's so much of the location there's so much of, there's just so many factors that impact things that we don't have any control on. However, it's very easy for me, especially, to blame myself, or to lash out and attack the thing that I have control over, which in this situation is me. So like my love of music, I dropped it. And it was for I can't stress enough, this is always, whenever I talk about these kinds of things, I don't ever, the things that I say that I do are not from oh yeah, fuck that. It's absolutely a sorry. It is self-preservation. It's masking. It's that. It's accepting the world for what it is and realizing that you need to adjust yourself to be okay. And I did that for a long time with music. I have a bunch, I own so much music equipment. It just was in boxes. It was just in cases, which is blasphemous to me. I think that musical instruments, and I mean, anything can be made into an instrument if you try hard enough. But I think truly guitars, instruments that are made by hand, that someone really put their heart and soul into, and you can feel that, need to be played, and it is offensive to me if they are not. Like, and that's people asked before, like, oh man, when you die, can I have your brown Les Paul? Because that's my favorite. It's my favorite. It is part of me. I would be lost. I don't know if I don't think I'd want to make music if anything ever happened to it. But it is the cheapest guitar that I own, other than the one that I bought 4 times drunk, blackout drunk, and covered in stickers. It's covered in scratches. It has friction burns that match the friction burn on my arm from playing Fern Teeth, real loosey-goosey, real wild, and all that rubbing. I just love that guitar. It makes me so happy. It has a soul, if that makes sense, in a way that nothing else that I own that is like it does. And that's not a thing that you get with money. That's a thing that you get with human hands. I'm very firm. I'm very firm in my belief in that. And that is why with making stuff, I love that we are at where we are with 3D printing, and that, you can print whatever. You can make anything. But I am incapable of just printing something and painting it. I say I'm incapable. I'm not incapable. I don't fucking like to do it, and I don't want to do it. I don't know. When you play around with models your whole life and little toys, eventually I think you want them to be individual and to be like bespoke, I guess, your thing. You want it to be special, especially with me. Like I want to constantly make characters and get them out of my head, because they just pop in and it's just like, there's only so much space, you got to get out. I think I answered, or at least I ranted and I raved partially about Tim Henson. But I listened to the album Renaissance. It is one of my favorite albums. It is not my favorite Bolivia album. My favorite is actually an EP. And it's the only one that I don't own. I have all of their stuff on vinyl signed, with the exception of my favorite, which is the most hated. And I hate that I remember seeing it on their website for like $20 and just being like, I don't think I need that. And then at the time I hadn't listened to it. So my favorite band is Bolivia, and I listened to them almost exclusively one album, Renaissance. I listened to it every day for 3 years. In the morning, I would wake up, and pretty much like what we're doing right now, instead of doing this, I would come downstairs and I would start to sculpt. And I did that every single day. And then a lot of times I would do it after work. But every day I would come down here and I would sculpt. And then I would listen to Renaissance all the way through. And then if I still felt like sculpting, I would listen to Eschaton by the band Waking Ada. And I can put both of those in the Discord music channels. But man, if you are wanting no possum roadkill today, yay, possum, you didn't get hit. That's wonderful. I'm so glad. Uh, man, I can't imagine skating to work. I can't imagine doing anything that involves trying to get to where I work other than being in a car because, man, I don't trust anybody around me. I'm like, they're all dumb. They're all going to hit me. This is a mandible. This was part of the skull that is being used for the king piss like skull that I'm making that will go here in place of the child inverted at times. But I thought that it looked good on there. The gold snake is the gold snake, the gold jacket, the black and gold. Black and gold. One is a homage to Black Legion, one black and gold. Two, it's King Piss. It's King Piss is black and gold. Like the concept of the deity, the concept of a deity. Luckily, it's 4 a.m. and very few people. I didn't even think about that. The time difference. I mean, even right now, probably like 7. I'd probably be okay to like. I'd fall because I can't skate. Can I skate? Yes. Have I skated? Yes. Long time? Oh yeah. Never was good. Just capable. Like I was able. No tricks. I liked bikes. I was a bike kid. Kentucky is more of a bike place. We don't have. Let me rephrase that. Where I live in Kentucky is more of a bike place. It is now quite sprawling, but it used to only be. I mean, it's always been like the biggest town in the area. It's just there's just such a big difference between like Elizabethtown and Louisville, even, which Louisville is one of the biggest cities in America, but it's fucking huge. But it's not. The cities, our cities, are so different than like Texas and New York. They don't go up; they just go out. They just go out forever. And because we live in, you know, areas where I mean, New York, you physically only have so much space, so it's just like you have to go up. We have way more space, so like Louisville is comically wide. Like it's just like you took a town and we're like, I'm gonna paint it over this whole table, and it's just like you really only need to be the size of that candle, bro. But yeah, that's ranting and raves. Yeah, King Piss, black and gold. Essentially, it is almost like the King Piss is supposed to be the king of audacity, and it was when I came up with the concept of King Piss. One, it was blasted into my brain. An entire monologue was blasted into my brain in the shower one morning, and I said, "Wow, that's fun." So then I went to work and I said, "Hey guys, listen to this." And I just started saying this monologue that was blown into my brain. And everybody loved it. They were all like, "I don't know what that is, but that's the funniest thing I've heard in a long time. Tell me more." And I was like, "I don't know. It just came out of me. It popped in my head this morning." But it was it had to have been like not lucid, but like not fever dream either, but just like man, I'm kind of like barely awake, and like my brain tapped into a like real weird old memory of like, I guess, I don't know where I was, but I was younger and I was listening to someone. "Good morning, my greasy burger ignited my grill last night, almost caught the house on fire." That's horrifying. That is a new fear unlocked. That burger's too greasy. You doing the natural gas, the propane, or the charcoal? I'm a charcoal guy myself. I used to do so much grilling, man, so much grilling and chilling. Times were simpler before COVID, my sweets. It's nuts. Shit, what was I gonna say? I was talking about King Piss. Yeah, sorry I missed the cast. Oh, no worries, no worries. Man, I am trying to think. Yeah, King Piss is essentially the idea was, when it hit me, the idea was I had a memory of some old VH1 like interview that I think I was like at my grandparents' house, and my grandfather, my grandpa's actually like the reason that I play music, probably. He did get me like my first guitar when I was like a child, which was like an acoustic one, but it's like a small child's one, and you smack around on it, you don't know how to play it. But he did help me pick out my first electric guitar, which is where I learned how to play. And he is the reason that I got a Les Paul. But I started with a Epiphone Les Paul Special 2, and like everything else that I own, I absolutely destroyed it and made it completely. You cannot recognize this thing, and I think Tyler has it now. Whiskey Machine, in the Discord, or not in the Discord, but he sometimes pops on here. But my buddy Tyler, I believe, has it. If he doesn't, then I sold it to my old roommate and bandmate Sean. It was an old shitty, like, I mean, not shitty. I mean, it is what it is. It was a $150 guitar in 2006. Not even 2006. It was a $150 guitar in 2004. That came with a amp, and I still have the amp. I still use the amp all the time because it's a little small solid state amp, which is like this big and is awesome for putting on my desk if I am doing any kind of like work with electronics. Having to like pick up the thing that I'm working on and carrying it across the room to plug it into like one of my either of my bigger amps, is just not a good thing. So I've always held on to that little guy just for testing. But man, I've owned so much different music equipment. I didn't mean to just rant about that. It was just supposed to be I was talking about King Piss and where King Piss came from. The whole thing was a joke. Overhearing my grandpa listen to VH1 interviews. And in my head, this character, which I guess is me, because it's a first-person monologue. It's me talking about starting a band with Bucky, which is the name of my son, Oliver. I don't even know if I remember it. So I'm sitting on the back, I'm smoking a fag with Bucky. Here he comes up and he says, I'm going to start a band. And I'm like, okay, Bucky, we've been in plenty of bands before. What's going to make this one different? And he says, two things. Number one, Kevin Jones on bass. The key about this is Kevin Jones is a guy that I worked with at Bluegrass, that I don't think has ever picked up a bass. He's never played it. He cannot play bass. Just two things. Kevin Jones on bass. Yours truly, also on bass. Tyler Henry doing vocals, but he sounds like a Pikmin. And that's it. So, and I'm going to call it King Piss. It's going to be the greatest fucking band in the world. And I looks at him and I says, Bucky, that's going to be fucking mental. And that was just it popped into my head while I was taking a shower, and I went to work and I said that to my coworkers, and they were like, I don't know what that was, but you need to keep going with that, because I liked all of that. But the idea of King Piss was it's a firm fucking stance. You don't accidentally name your band King Piss. You don't accidentally name yourself King Piss. And it is I guess the culmination and the birth of the concept of go big or go home, I guess, almost, and it's for me. Thinking about that, and then sometime around there is when I let YouTube or whatever I was listening to Renaissance on go a little bit longer, and nope, that's not true. That's not true at all. I can actually completely remember why I started listening to anything else. I was so set in only listening to Renaissance, and it was just my music that I listened to while sculpting, that I did not want to listen to anything else that they made. And then a mutual friend was just like, he's like, oh yeah, no, I love Polyphia. I love me some goat. And I was just like, I've never goat. I don't understand. He's like, you've never heard goat? And I was like, no. So goat is like, it's fucking amazing. It's actually the track that I put on Instagram with my little video. Um, but it's so fucking sick. It's one of the sickest fucking songs. But that got me into listening to the rest of their stuff that they wrote after Renaissance. And the very first thing that they wrote was um, The Most Hated. And The Most Hated, Goat is amazing. Goat, it's so good. I can play the first chunk of it, but then I stopped. That was during COVID. So essentially, like during COVID, is when I fell in love with music again because of Polyphia. I listened to The Most Hated, and the more I listened to it and listened to them talk about it, the fact that the entire band was formed, like they make the music that they want to play, they are so, I guess, just unapologetically children of the internet, and I relate to that on such a level. And constantly, you know, whenever they're going out on stage being announced as the greatest metal band of all time, and there's people just being so angry about that, and it's just like, if you don't get the joke, I don't know what to tell you. They're a pop band, and that's one of the other things that just I am so impressed, because one, talent wise, but two, the fact that he clearly, Tim, loves music and is so insanely talented, and the way that he thinks is so unusual, and individual, that it's what made me want to make music again. But essentially, when he said that, you know, we made Renaissance, and we finally they got a different drummer, they got someone that they really meshed with, and they made, I think, the song Lit, which was kind of like a single before The Most Hated. And they were like, what do we want to do? We want to make a rap album with guitars. And that is the most fucking rad thing that I had heard at the time. So I was like, okay, let me see. What do they do? And understanding it's very clear. Like, oh, okay, they're not just like metal kids that know how to play, like, you know, really fast or really complicated. It's a level and understanding of music on a level that music teachers don't typically understand, because it does not make sense to learn it like that. He uses so many octaves. He plays in key discordantly, and it's just, there's I don't know. It's someone that has a lot of, you know, sensitivity issues and stuff like that. Their music constantly like sends chills and shivers up the back of my neck, because like they hit notes that other people do not hit in combination, and it creates a almost like a void, like a sonic void that my body physically is just like tingles to, and I love it. But yeah, the whole idea of King Piss came from that. The king of audacity. Yeah, I think I do want to make music again, and I do want to make whatever the fuck I want to make. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna call it King Piss. And it's just like, are you sure? Yeah, did I fucking stutter? It's that, like, no one accidentally names their band King Piss. It's a very firm fucking decision. And I just really loved that. And the more I thought about that concept, the more it became an entity unto itself, almost a patron saint, or a minor, like not a minor, but a modern day Dionysus. And that is what King Piss, Miare Rex, if you nasty. That is what that concept, which also is tied into the child inverted, from Visterion. The child inverted is me, and I am King Piss. So it's all very coming up with your own deities and lores and stuff like that is very fun, and finding ways to blend that and merge it into reality or not, is something that other people did with God. So I figured I would do that too. But yeah. Which definitely sounds like, oh, I'm trying to make my own religion. I'm not. It's more of it's just art and it's self-expression and exploration. It's often easier to play in places, especially dark fucking places, if you segment parts of yourself off, which is not good. I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm saying that's kind of where that came from. A unintentional, actually not even unintentional, a completely intentional, almost just like trying to cross-cut my own subconscious, kind of segmenting out parts of me that I do or don't like. And that's kind of where the child inverted comes from, and that whole concept, along with all the other demons. Child inverted, the model itself. Yeah, I don't know. I need to finish that. I feel like I've just been yapping, but I feel like it was probably a good little conversation. I think I explained who King Piss is. Modern day Dionysus. It's a deity that I've made after discovering my love of music again and choosing to only make things for myself. That is King Piss. King Piss is the deity. He is the patron of dope ass artists. Essentially, here's Kelly. What's she doing? Essentially, it's any artist that just says fuck it. I don't care if you like it. Cult. Yeah, it's I'm not trying to, but that is my default setting. I realize that, and I'm not the only one who realizes that. There are a lot of people have been like, "Yeah, dude, you make such good cult leader," and I'm like, "I don't say that." Yeah, that's that. My buddy Ed was gonna make a cult one time, and then my other buddy Alan moved where he did to solely stop him. So that's the fear of starting a cult has been a thing, not just in myself, but a thing that I've had to worry about in my friend group for a long time. We got good ideas. I'm not saying we don't have good ideas. We got tons of good ideas. That's not the problem. Okay, well, anything else over here I want to show? Probably some things. So these are clock parts. And I enjoy listening to them do their clock thing a lot. They just have so many little things that every now and then I'll pick one up and it's very clearly the wrong way to pick it up and it starts whirring and spinning and making noises. And I really enjoy that. It also is really good for like ambient. Yeah, that's good. The clock's just, kind of whirring and spinning. This one is my favorite. This one's actually like the full, like clock harness. Whoop. Actually, I'll go ahead and show this thing. So, I won't show that. That one might be a little condemning. This one I'll show though. This is this was a gift from a friend. Friends give gifts. And today is my birthday. And you know what I would like more than anything in this entire world? A booster seat. A booster seat hot dog. No, okay, sorry. For those of you who are not familiar with the Reverend SpongeBob, that was one of my personal favorite excerpts, in which Plankton tries to convince SpongeBob to give him a Krabby Patty by telling him it's his birthday. It's not his birthday. He's like, that's not even your birthday. So, yeah, what is this? This came from the sister company to the company that I worked for a long time. It is used for cable management, for very large, like, cables. And the reason that I have saved this and the reason that I find it very funny is I had this, like, I had to fly to Green Bay. They flew me to Green Bay to go meet our sister company. And I talked to them, and it was great. And we flew back. Okay, well, it kind of sucked because it was February. It was Green Bay in February. That sucked. Turns out it's really cold. Also, don't know if anyone else knows this. Anyone else lives in Green Bay. They have a paper mill there. And I got to tell you, it might be a paper mill or it might be a glue factory. I don't remember which one, but one of them, whichever one that you need fat, like lye or whatever, they have a vat in the town. It's like if you I don't even know how big this thing is. It is so big. It's not like a water tower vat. It's bigger. It is just a giant vat, and they just put dead animals in it. It is, I guess, where it's part of the process, but they have to render down stuff. And it is one of the most disturbing smells I've ever smelled in my life. It's just like, man, that's like death, like rotting corpses is what I'm smelling. And they're like, oh yeah, you should smell it in not winter. And I'm just like, this is the best day. Like, I'm out, it's cold as shit. There's no heat, like from like just the sun or like where we are right now, causing that thing to get hotter. I can't imagine, like in the dead of summer, how horrible that town smells. I would think unbearable, because it was disturbing. It was like, man, I mean, I don't know. I think about that. I don't know. You think about smells. Smells are particles, so it's just like there's corpse particles going up in my nose. Oh my God, Green Bay is turning the anime horse girls into glue. Oh God. Okay, hold on. Anime horse girls? Well, okay, or are they a paper factory? I don't know. For some reason, when I think of anime horse girls, I think of girls that only like horses that are in anime. But I guess it could also be horse girls that like anime a lot. Or horses who are girls that like anime. Or horses who are girls that are in anime. There's a lot of options there. Anywho, so this thing, it just holds cables together. The reason that I kept it and the reason that I find it funny is I went to the plane. I go back, we're flying back, and I have this in my pocket when I go through the detector. And when I pulled it out and like, I tried to explain it to the girl, but she was like, it's okay, just go through. I don't think she understood what this was, but I don't think she was comfortable with it. But I was like, it's not a bomb. It's not a bomb, and it's nothing creepy. It's the new big thing. Umamusume. Umamusume? Umamusume. I don't know what Umamusume is, but that sounds good. What else we got here? I mean, that's pretty much it. So this is Mothership. I need to make the... Oh, wait. Umamusume. Is that... That sounds something anime. They are anime girls who are 90s races, of course. Y'all, what the fuck? I can't. Hold on. Like, it's an anime about horses. Gardner, you are correct. It's a horse. It's an anime. The horses are 90s. Why in the 90s? So, okay, y'all. Speaking of that, this is a little off base, but my nephew, I don't mean to put him on blast. I don't mean to put him on blast. He's sweet. He's a good kid. He's a good kid. My nephew, not the Jackie Chan one, his older brother. He sent a text to Kelly. Kelly was like, yeah, we should hang out. We should hang out with him, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, I thought, maybe we could go to an arcade. It might be, there's an arcade nearby. I thought maybe we could go. It would be nostalgic for you guys. And it's just like, all right, you little shit. How the fuck old do you think I am? I never went to an arcade. Like, no. But yeah, so there was that. We had a good little laugh about that. And I like that. I like that. I don't know. Maybe I put off the vibe that copyright. I don't know. Maybe I do need to go to an arcade and feel nostalgic again. I never really hung out in arcades though, so it's just like that's 80s. Like I'm a 90s kid. Like I would have liked to have been 80s, but I don't know actually. I think 90s is pretty dope. And I can't stress enough. I hate Just like, oh, 90s kids. It's like, dude, I don't want to think about being a kid anymore. I love a lot of things from the 90s, but I got enough shit going on right now. Slimer's great. Uh, when I was little, I remember distinctly for one of my birthdays, my uncle Mark, this was around the time Aliens came out, got me the Alien Queen action figure and Hicks. And I still have the Hicks somewhere. Not here. It's at my mom's house. But the Queen, I did not get to keep. Uh, it had to go back. And that is because, one, it had arms coming out of its chest. And two, it was just awful. And I think that was that. It was just awful. My mom did not care for the Alien Queen. My mom does not care for 99% of the things that I like to make. Actually, I'm going to go 100. No, she liked that. She liked the little silly cat thing. But other than that, other than silly things that I make, my mom typically does not. And Gundam. My mom really likes Gundam. She likes to buy me Gundam models. That is like and it's very weird as an adult now, because I can remember being in high school and being like, I want this model. And my mom being like, I'm not buying you any more models for Christmas. You need to grow up. And it's just like, yeah, that's probably true. But now that I'm an adult, it's like my mom really likes to buy me models whenever I ask for anything, because I don't. I think that's probably also it. On like my birthday, it's like, well, I was thinking about getting this, and then she gets to be excited about it. And she's like, oh, it's like when you were a little kid, I used to buy these. And just like 30 years later, it's the same thing. It's just like, I don't know why you thought that would have changed. I always liked building little robots, big robots too. So yeah. Oh boy, what are we going to do today? I've got to work on some of that stuff for Merkborg, because that was definitely something I could have been talking about this morning. I don't know. I sat over here, and this is just a different vibe, It's good. Sam and Kelly were very adamant that I was going to boop my head on this. And I was like, you all don't know how. You think I don't know about booping? I boop things all the time. Boop. And then I booped them. But yeah, no. I don't think I explained. Did I explain? I think I did. I covered why I have one of Tim Henson's jackets, because I love his music. It inspired me to make music again. I didn't touch back on why that's important. That's why I have a connection, or I have a relationship, I think, for the most part. That's not why. It was a very defining point in our relationship, though, was Nick, Modern Synthesis, Mr. Pink. After him becoming friends with the Wires, we were introduced, because I am friends with the Wires. I love those boys. I love all those boys. Nick and the Wires, they're great. Anywho, so after being on a call or two with Nick, he was like, hey, you make music, don't you? And it's the entire reason that he knows that I made music is I was working on music at the time, and I had made the outro for the Wire Brothers podcast, Dragged into Turbo Lasers. And I had only done that because of Tim. Like, Tim inspired me to make music again, and to want to make music again, and to want to create, and to just say, fuck, I don't care whoever listens to it. This is for me. I want to make this thing. Because that is just something that I struggle with my art, is making sure that I don't like to have what I want to make be influenced by anything unintentionally. I like it to be just pure what I'm trying to create. So that's very key. And I think he just had such a big impact into bringing back something that I loved, that it led to me making stuff and being connected with other people. And that's the whole thing. So I've always been an artist, I suppose. I've always made things. I never tried sculpting with like green stuff in the way that I had seen in, codexes at the time, back in third and stuff. Old articles that Games Workshop made in White Dwarf and in codexes would actually have stuff like that. It was pretty fucking rowdy and awesome. It was awesome. So pretty much trying my first hand at that because of a model I saw online of an exoshrine. That's our exoshrine that someone had made, and I was just like, that is the coolest thing. I was like, man, I should just try sculpting. But yeah, the guy that made that thing was Nick, Modern Synthesis Mr. Pink. So that is shortly around the time that I started to sculpt every day for an hour for 3 years. So doing that and also just like vibing, just nonstop, just being in a vibe. It does it. It'll do it. It'll do it. It'll help you get better at something. Practice. But the whole thing came down to, it was just a full circle. The guy that inspired me to start sculpting something wanted me to make music, because the guy that inspired me to start making music again got me to make music for the guys, you know, that I sculpted models for. So it seemed fitting that's where one of the figures in this case is a piece that I made for Tim. And I showed it to him whenever we met, just the picture that I had been working on. And I do love that on the way there, I told Kelly, I was like, yeah, I'm hoping he likes it. If he likes it, he'll say, dude, that's sick as fuck. And that is exactly verbatim what he said. Like, I showed it to him, he goes, dude, that's sick as fuck. And I was just like, okay, good. And then life happened, and I have not gotten a chance to finish it yet. But the main thing is, I guess I got back and I started to paint it like from how I paint things. But I think in that time, I definitely also came to the conclusion that it's just like, it should be painted for the recipient, a gift. If I'm making something for someone, I want it to be what they want. And obviously it's like, you know, I made it, like, it's very clearly like, yeah, RedWetSkeleton made that. That's fucked up. And also just look at all that texture. I picked up some old 4th edition Warhammer Fantasy Battle Army books, and they have color and banner pages. It rules. Yeah, dude. I love old GW shit. Man, that company used to be so fucking rad. I can't stress that enough. My anger, the part of me that has always been an angry little beast that's just like, that just wants to bite and bite and bite. It sees what it grew up with, and it sees what it has now, and it's so angry, and it just wants to fix things. And I mean, that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing the Grimdark Distillery. Because being angry, and that's something I was talking about that with Sam the other day, is spite. I've done so much stuff in my life out of spite. It's a very powerful tool, but I don't want to do that anymore. And I don't want to do that because I don't want to. I think that is what's fucking wrong with everything. I think that so many of us were raised being told what we needed to do to be successful. But they didn't know what they were really telling us. They're just doing the best. I can't be, and that's for the ones that, anyone that help form or shape you, that is doing their best. That's not like anyone trying to take advantage of you. The world is just, there's so many things going on out there. And you just got to be careful. You don't want to get taken advantage of. You don't want to take advantage of people. I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard. It's hard to want to make stuff and do the right thing, because there's so many different people out there. And while you might think, oh, hey, I'm doing this thing and I don't think I'm making anyone upset, it's just like, wow, that could really upset someone in a way that you're not intentionally meaning to, and actually you would give a shit about. That is the big factor for me. For a very long time, I don't give a fuck if I upset people. But there are certain topics that's just like, yeah, oh no, I would never want to upset anyone with that. So, oh man, I'm clearly just been yapping. But I think I probably yapped about some things that were pretty interesting today. If not, I at least showed you guys some stuff that I've made over here. And I showed you some of the cool clocks. I didn't show this. This is a planter that I took one of the creepy sticks that is going to be used for making trees, or it was. And it had a little creepy looking face towards the roots. So I tied it up in there to make it look very kind of occultish. Kind of like a. Fuck. What is the thing that you pull out of the ground and it screams? It looks like a baby. Mandrake? A mandrake. I thought it would be like a mandrake. And on that note, my sweets, it's time that I go make some coffee. But thank you so much for hanging out. Hopefully, this was not just me yapping for an hour incoherently. I think it was probably connected in some way. But no, thank you guys so much for keeping me company. And thank you so much for hanging out and checking out the new little filming area. I'm so excited. We have so much more stuff to do. It never ends. Yeah, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm really happy. I'm really happy that we're here. I'm so happy to have you all here with me. Thank you so much for your time. It truly means the world to me. Have a good day. Be good to yourselves and to each other. Take care and sit pretty. Bye, friends.